What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode we're diving back into the return of Johnny Ridden. Last time, the Chimera and FSS teams regrouped and met up with Rimia and the Sangre Azul. They regrouped at the Garden of Thorns, where Anaheim Electronics is making moves to turn this area into what will become Industrial 7 in the future. This time, FSS and Chimera gets caught up on what is Minaret and Astaroth. Yazan pilots a mobile suit that he has some history with, and Arlette discusses her complicated relationship with Char to Danton. Also, we meet a character that we haven't seen since the plot to assassinate Garen. So let's get into this. Luna 2. Ingrid and Gop's team are getting repairs on their mobile suits. Ingrid watches when Gop comes in to rap with her in his super cool hoodie. He is just like all the youths. He says, "What's wrong, Skibbity Toilet?" She wonders if he would ever put himself on the line to fight. She is thinking of her fight with Char, which seemed to have really gotten to her. He tells her not to worry about him, Skibbity Toilet. She tells him to stop talking like that and to take off the hoodie. As a gift to calm her nerves, he gives her the burst liner to use with her heavy Gundam. The burst liner is a turret designed as a part of the SWS program, intended to be used with the RX-78 line. There's little data on a supposed North Pole class ship that was designed to carry full armor and heavy Gundams into a battle against Granada. However, there's not too much on this. This was built before the subflight system was created, and the base jabber far outclasses this unit. However, its single megaparticle cannon does come in handy and can take out a space carrier in a single shot. She isn't really happy about it and wonders about Yazan. They unload his new mobile suit. Yazan comes in and notices that it is a Gundam Mark II. Let's just say Yazan has experience with this unit whooping his ass constantly. He goes, "Nope, not doing it." Gop says that he went out of his way to paint it his personal colors, which happens to be blue and green, just like his Humbrabi in Zeta. It is referred to as the Vasuki Custom. Ingrid laughs at him and says, "Isn't it ironic?" However, this is the best Gop could do, and it will take some time to get a new Gem Knight Seeker. Those were rare, and you ruined it. It looks like he has no choice. Gop asks if she wants a full armor Gundam, but she is cool with her heavy Gundam. Gotta mention all those MSVs. Ditkot and Hoover meet with Oxner. They are about to do something unheard of, but they are all just glad they don't have desk jobs. Oxner looks out to the Garden of Thorns. Are those Draw Cs being used as mobile workers? Neat. Meanwhile, Gop is meeting with the AE accountant Hugbald. They are the ones who supplied the Mark II to Gop. They are close to making a full armor version of the Mark II. The original MSV shows the full armor II as being operated by the AU during the Grips conflict, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. He understands how Anaheim Electronics plays, and he wonders what's the catch. Hugbald hands him a contract regarding what they need from Gop. He simply says that he could do sections 2 and 3. 1 and 4 he needs time to think it over, and section 5 is a no-go. They don't really tell the reader what they are. Hugbald mentions others. Gop continues on to see the Strategic Naval Research Institute, SNRI. AE seems to be worried about their presence. At this time, they haven't built a single mobile suit, but he notes that that could change, and in the future, indeed, it does so. It seems to be true what we thought last episode. Anaheim Electronics does indeed want to get out of the mobile suit game as they transition into making colonies. But as they make this transition, they still want to retain their government contracts for as long as possible. Gop wonders why he would ever give intel that could potentially destabilize the current economy. It is Anaheim Electronics that wants to help bring stability. He tells Gop that AE is currently divided into the Von Braun camp and the Granada camp. Although one corporation, these two entities don't share their trade secrets with one another, because one side helps EFF and the other side helps Zeon, and each side remains ignorant of each other. Gop understands this and wonders what side Hugbald is on. He thinks that he is currently working both sides. But really, he just wonders if Char is working with Granada. Gop could see through him, it seems, as he ponders what will happen to AE in the future. He still doesn't say exactly what he wants in exchange for the full armor Gundams. He tells him, however, that Johnny Ridden has regained consciousness. This is all he needs to hear and takes his leave. Ingrid wonders if he is a spy, but Gop says he is merely a messenger. He seems to be more concerned with Johnny Ridden than he is with Minaret. On Side 3, a young girl named Amaria is looking out at the colony. That is when Leopold Feiseler comes in. He is the main character of the plot to assassinate Garen and a former Zeon investigator. He has a favor to ask her. She asks about her sister Rimia. Amaria tells him that she is an engineer with FSS. One thing to note is that she is referring to Leopold as father. It appears as though the Sangre Azul was something that the Feiseler family looked after for years, and that it isn't Zeon's property. Leo says Amaria is smart and thanks Miss Elsie. So it does seem that Leo and Elsie are together, since FSS seems to be in control of the Zanzibar now. Amaria is going to be Leopold's eyes and ears. He has also heard rumors that a third party was at the battle. Amaria knows Haman's Neo-Zeon remnants are active, but he is of course talking about Char Aznable. Leo mentions that the Sangre Azul is also just a ship that leads you immediately to another ship and tells her about Minaret and Astaroth. Even he doesn't know what it is and simply says it is something that could change Universal Century. He tells her that the person who created this weapon was Hugh Markeen Kelvin and that this weapon can't fall into the wrong hands. Char becoming a third party in this race has got Leopold very worried. We learned that after the war, it appears that the Feiseler family adopted thousands of war orphans, including the Greenwoods. He says that Amaria doesn't have to call him father. If anything urgent happens, he wants her to bring Rimia back to Side 3. She says that for helping him out, she has to get a meeting with Elsie. He teases her, saying that they are similar, because they are both a pain in his ass. Ludwig's FSS team is scouting the outskirts of the Garden of Thorns in their new Nemos. They notice a Zeon ship nearby. It happens to be Char's Neo Zeon in a Musai Kai. Ludwig fires to scare them out of the sector. The Musai is trying to figure out how to break through their defenses. They send out mobile suits. Oxner meets with FSS and the Chimera Corps. The first part of their plan is to find Minaret and bring it back here. Led butts in and asks, what exactly is it? He says that it is something that can change everything. Oxner says it is the key to bring back Johnny Ridden. But then Led goes, yeah, but what does that exactly mean? Finally, someone not speaking in riddles. Oxner says it is the Zabi's tool of revenge. Led goes, yeah, but what does that mean? Be more specific. He finally stops beating around the bush and says that Minaret is a ship used to design and test many of the Chimera Corps weapons. It was also a huge server farm which holds a lot of the Zabi family secrets. Back then, the Chimera Corps' goal was to be an old type group that could take out new types, along with guarding Zeon's treasures. Kill two birds with one stone. Uma and Ingrid were too young, but some actually know of the secrets. After the war, FSS was created to uncover the secrets of the Chimera, which is why Scott is on the FSS team. He mentions that he only knew of its existence through Hugh Kelvin. Jacobius has no idea of this, however. Led asks, what are the contents of the Zabi weapon? It is a biochemical weapon that can wipe out an entire ecosystem. We learn this from a flashback from Zeon's perspective, but FSS hasn't been caught up on everything. Gerald Sakai mentions that if this is confirmed, that means that the Ground Zero incident was real and it wasn't just rumors. This is referring to Mobile Suit Gundam Ground Zero Rise from the Ashes, where Astaroth was first mentioned in Universal Century. We really need to get back to that story. At the time, it wasn't considered against the Antarctic Treaty because it wasn't a nuke, and the treaty wasn't amended to other weapons of mass destruction yet. If this gets to Earth, it will become worldwide, and destroying it is near impossible. However, what's more important is the next step. Astaroth is designed to be used on Earth, but it must first be injected into a colony via a warhead. All of the people who knew how to do this injection probably are no longer alive and most likely died with Hugh Kelvin. Led asks how to unlock it. Oxner says with Johnny Ridden, specifically his biometrics. There were 3 people who could activate the system: Hugh Markeen Kelvin, Asia Fellow, and Johnny Ridden. Led asks what then. He says he will hold on to this power, not for power's sake, but to ensure it doesn't fall into the hands of Char Aznable. He doesn't want to leave the fate of the world to him. But in order for that to happen, Johnny Ridden has to return. At Granada, Arlette and Danton are going through Anaheim Electronics archives. She is working on the Sazabi for Char, but they also need to focus on modification for the DJ. Danton wonders if she is going to visit Dr. Nagano, but he doesn't have the time. Remember, Dr. Nagano was in charge of the Delta program, and in my own personal headcanon, he and Dr. Namikar totally banged. Danton doesn't seem to understand Char and calls him a person who is into little girls. But Arlette seems to get it. He is clearly compensating for the fact that his mother was taken from him at a young age. So he desires the attention of women. He is looking for a mommy figure, or perhaps someone who resembles his sister. Danton wonders what exactly is her relationship with the Colonel. She says that she is a little sister looking out for her brother. If you watch Twilight Access, Arlette was in love with Char, but she fell into a depression after learning of his relationship with Lala. She was a part of the Flanagan Institute in the early years, and has gotten over her complicated relationship with him. Ultimately, she knows that Char is using her, but she is kind of okay with it at the moment. As they talk about Char, Arlette gets a new type flash and can hear someone else. It is Remia meeting with her sister Amaria. She knows their intentions and knows they have something to do with Johnny Ridden. For now, they head off to Von Braun to grab some souvenirs. And that will do it for now, new types. Leopold Feiseler, the once curious investigator, seems to have a bigger role in this than expected. He is considered to be the heir of Zeonic, so it does make sense. Also, Arlette's desires are all centered around making mobile suits. Even though Char is using her, she is most definitely using him to satisfy her engineering needs. Next time, Remia helps develop a mobile suit that can counter the DJ, which will end up becoming the Gelgug Vertex. We will see another flashback of Cristobal and Roy Greenwood. And Amaria does as Leopold says, and investigates the Granada AE engineers regarding Char. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, don't be the person that fills that mommy role for someone. That's not gonna go well. Peace.